No, I'm impressed. Webcams, what do you think of when you think of webcams? I really don't think much, actually, myself, of webcams. They're pretty boring, static items. I'm talking about sort of the standard webcams on the market or the built-in webcams that a lot of computers will come with. There's really nothing exciting about them at all. But that might have changed. So one company that I really like that creates some really cool cameras that I'm sure you've probably heard of, Insta360. They've come out with their own webcam, and it's called the Insta360 Link. And this thing, from what I've seen and read about it, it's got some really cool features and something quite different to a lot of the normal webcams that you think of. This one is actually not boring at all. So let's take a bit of a look at it and have a little bit of a chat about it. Insta360 described this webcam as an AI-powered webcam, but God knows what that means. Well, actually, I do know a little bit about what that means. So it's 4K. That's what you'd expect from a good webcam. You can clip it onto like the top of your computer, or you could even mount it elsewhere. So it doesn't necessarily have to be stuck on top of your computer at all. Like I said, it's 4K resolution. It's got built-in AI. So they're talking about AI from an AI tracking perspective. You can follow subjects and so forth. You can also do some cool things with the likes of a whiteboard, for example, which is quite interesting. So it can sort of detect a whiteboard if you're, say, standing at it, and you can have it sort of zoom in and focus on that whiteboard. It's got a bunch of sort of different modes, and you can also control it with gestures. Okay, that didn't work with this video, but never mind. Resolution, from what I've seen, is really crisp, really clear. You'd expect that from a good 4K camera, and you're definitely getting that with the Insta360 Link. Typical webcams, they've got quite a small sensor. The Insta360 Link has a 1/2-inch sensor. In the scheme of cameras, that's small, but does tend to be, or is sort of a bigger sensor than a lot of other webcams on the market. And with this sensor and the technology built into the Insta360 Link, they say it's really good for a range of different lighting conditions. You could almost film yourself in the dark. Okay, not pitch black, but in a darker room, and you can increase the dynamic range, and it really gets some good light in there. So a lot of people, and I've done this myself, will make videos. Will be on our computer, will be on a webcam, and we might have a bright light in the background or behind us, like a window, for example. Insta360 say that with the HDR built into the Link, that your background doesn't get blown out, such as if there's a bright light around or behind you, like a window, for example. So that's nice. You obviously got to turn the HDR mode on, but yeah, that's pretty cool. A lot of people, and I've done this myself. Might be talking on a webcam and we want to be showing something, so we'll hold a product, up to the camera. And I'm sure you've had this yourself. It doesn't always focus on what it is that we hold up to the camera. Insta360 are boasting a thing called true focus. So they're saying that there's no more sort of blurry shots. It'll focus a lot quicker than most other webcams, and sort of but at the same time maintain a natural look. From what I've seen again in the videos with this webcam, I think that's pretty accurate claim from Insta360. Like I said, you can mount the camera on top of the computer. You could have it on a tripod or mount it elsewhere. The camera itself's on a gimbal, which is really cool. And with the AI focusing and tracking that's built in, it can sort of the lens itself or the gimbal will rotate and can follow you if you're moving around. If say you're doing a presentation or something, and it'll sort of maintain visual on yourself, and the zooming you always sort of be center stage. So I guess you could think of it as a little bit like Apple's center stage feature, only this actually looks a lot better, in my opinion. I mentioned that it's got several different modes, one being the whiteboard mode, which I've talked about. Another one that's quite cool is if you've got it, say, mounted on top of your computer, and you put it in what they're calling desktop mode, then the gimbal or the camera will focus down and automatically adjust to show what's sort of on the tabletop in front of you. If you're doing again, presentations or talking about something and you want to demonstrate something that's right in front of you, just have it in this desktop mode. Looks really cool. The videos, again, I've seen about this, that I think the claim that Insta360 are making here is pretty spot on. Other modes, there's overhead modes, portrait mode, etc. From an audio perspective, there's noise cancellation in it, and you know the audio I've heard is pretty good, so I think you'd be happy with that. So yeah, I actually think webcams are no longer boring. This is actually one of the first, or probably the only webcam lately that I'm actually genuinely interested in, and I could see myself actually getting one of these and be quite happy to use it. So yeah, I might just actually go and do that. Let me know what you think about the look of the Insta360 Link and whether you'll be getting one. Drop me a comment. There's also a link to the Insta360 Link in the description if you want to check it out further. As always, give the video a subscribe and a like. That's much appreciated. And we'll catch you next time. See ya.